Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. All right. And I just want to jump into a quick lesson. I want to give my spiritual 2 cents on the events that have been occurring lately within the Israelite community. All right. And unless you've been under a rock somewhere and not being diligent, not watching the videos, then you should be aware of where I'm going. All right. I just put on the elder Yashawamba, his video, and he was going into this, and I've watched other videos throughout the day. You got apostles, elders, brothers doing lessons, and on what we've been seeing and what we should take from it. So I was not even halfway through Elder Yashawamba's video, and I just thought I'd give my spiritual 2 cents, right? And and that's another part of this faith. Breaking down scriptures, going into prophecy, doing the work, being diligent, etc., etc. All of these are major parts of this faith. But also being taught of what to watch for, right? Being warned for the snares of this devil, and they come in many forms. So we're fortunate to have elders and our brothers and apostles and men who are experienced in these things and have seen them, and they're able to warn us. You got former elders, former teachers, men that were in this truth, coming back, trying to, as they would say, restore order. You got guys trying to link Israelites to terrorism. I was watching the elder Ahmawan Gabar. He went into that. You got other men pushing these new false names for Yahawah and YAHAWASHI. And we've been warned of all these things by the elder apostles, for some time now. Right? They've been telling us that these things were going to happen. And ultimately, it's all a part of the persecution that the true men of the Lord would have to suffer for YAHAWASHI's sake. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Regardless of the who's, what, when's, where's, why, how it all unfolds, it's all a part of the persecution that we would have to suffer for YAHAWASHI's sake. All right, and I just want to start there really quick. Is the book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse 10. It says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake." Right? So that, again, that's a part of it. This is all for, because we come in the names of Yahawah Bashim Shai. And YAHAWASHI himself, he told us that this will happen. We have the warning. The things were written aforetime, were written for our learning. And we have this truth because we believe, and the scriptures give us the information, the intel. You know what I mean? And we're comforted by these words because, especially when they come to pass, man, we go into the scriptures and we see these things happen, and they line exactly up with the words of YAHAWASHI, the words of the prophets. It's beautiful to behold. And it boosts our faith, and it gives us the courage to keep fighting, to keep pushing. All right. Verse 12 says, "Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." And this is nothing new. All right. So we're anticipating the persecution. And Yahawah Bashim Shai, we endure. Because that's what this whole thing is about. It's about enduring. All right. And again, you have men popping up after decades trying to jump back in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Which I really don't have much to say about, because I'm not particularly one to disrespect elders. All right. But it's something that it's something that I noticed, man, about men and about certain camps that pop up after this long hiatus, right? Their whole campaign is about telling everyone about what's going wrong with the men who have been laboring, right? That's their whole campaign is just to tell you why things aren't right, right? And how they got the truth and how they're the ones that should be followed. All the while, they're not prophesying. They're not condemning Esau and his wickedness. They're all about saving black people. They're not pushing the names of Yahawah and YAHAWASHI. A lot of these men are using Christ, right? Or they're using some new bugged out, so-called heavenly names, right? Which is not even worth mentioning anymore, right? It's all very see-through if you have the eyes to see, man. And I'll say this, man, I'll say it boldly. We don't need no damn new leadership, all right? We don't need we don't need new leadership, man. The apostles and the elders of Great Millstone have been feeding the flock for decades, non-stop, okay? And they have produced great fruit. That is a fact. All right, Great Millstone camps are flourishing all over the globe due to the leadership of our elders. And men have entered into their labors and have been doing great work. Right? Which ultimately have been set up by YAHAWASHI and YAHAWASHI. Right? Let's give the credit where the credit's due. This is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 in verse 14. It says, but continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and has been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. Yeah, and we're assured of what we've been learning, right? Because the elders and apostles, they always tell us, don't believe us, go into it and look it up yourself. All right. The scriptures say, what's the verse? It says, it says how you should be fully persuaded in your own mind. Okay. And how do you do that? You do that by, studying, going into things that you learn, making sure it makes sense, making sure it lines up. All right. Knowing of whom thou hast learned them. We know who we learn this truth from because these men are studied. All right. They go into these things. It all lines up with what's going on in current events. Okay. That's how you measure the times diligently in itself. All right. Guess how we know what the MOTB is? Right? It's from our apostles and our elders being diligent, being studied, going into root words for deeper understanding, linking it with the times that we're in. Okay, we don't need no new leadership with this faith, man. The earth needs new leadership. That's who needs new leadership. And that's what these men should be talking about instead of trying to diminish the work of the true men of the Lord. All right? Something that I mentioned to brothers earlier today in a group is that when you listen to these men, it's never anything spiritual coming from them. It's always some vain, carnal arguments and niggas just trying to be right. Right? You got 8 men on one live stream talking shit. All right? And again, there ain't no prophesying. They're not warning the flock against the real enemy. No exhortation, no edifying. All right? These men sound like the average jakes in the world, man. Niggas just trying to be right. All right? But none of this weirdo ass activity is going to prevail in the end. All right? Not against the Lord's elect. This is Psalms chapter 44 in verse 5. It says, through thee will we push down our enemies. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us, right? And there's many enemies of the Lord. You got Esau, Edom, you know what I'm saying? You got this beast system, these other heathen nations, and you got 2/3 of the nation of Israel, right? Men of the circumcision, just it's all types of enemies, man. But through YAHAWASHI, through the names of YAHAWASHI, they'll be tread down, man. Okay, you're not gonna prevail against the men of the Lord. Acts chapter 5 and verse 38. All right, and it says, "And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught." And this is what we have to anticipate. None of this stuff is gonna hold up in the end. All right, it's not gonna hold up in the end because it's not of the Lord. Verse 39, "But if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it. Least happily ye be found even to fight against the Most High." And we've been seeing that as well. We've been seeing men come back into the faith. We've been seeing men, not forsake the true names of Yahweh Shai, calling on Christ and Jesus and all these other different names. But it never holds up in the end. Never holds up, right? And ultimately, these men are gonna have there's a judgment to pay for that. All right, and the scriptures tell us that there's only one name that you shall call on to be delivered, and we gonna see what that name is in the end, right? I always think to myself, I wonder what name these men pray to, right? Y'all know the names of Yahweh, Yahawashai, but y'all go and and push the names of Christ. I see that a lot amongst ISUPK. They say Christ a lot. Obviously IUIC, that's in the title of their camp name or whatever. It's like, do y'all men pray to these names? It's all a bunch of BS, man. All right, but that's why we gotta stay sober. And we gotta stay on point, man, because this devil got many ways to deceive you. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." Right? And this devil is going to come from many angles. Many angles. He got many ways to deceive. He got many ways to enticement and all of that. All right. And ultimately, when you really think about it, everything that I just mentioned, everything that the elders and the brothers have been mentioning, in their videos, everything that we see, all right, that's happening, like the elder Yahshua was, the title of his lesson. We are in those times, spies, agents, etc. Right? This is also a sifting period for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Right? If any man gets taken by these devices, which are of Satan, right? Whether it be, men with false doctrines, the persecution gets too tough, and you fall by the wayside, however, right? You get offended in any way, and you lose your integrity. Okay, whatever the reason you're being removed from the body, it's because the Lord wanted it that way. So again, this is a huge sifting period, because you're gonna see men get offended, right? And this thing may just get too tough for some men to hold on to. All right, and that's what can never be lost in all of this. This is the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And if you fall out, or if you lose faith, or whatever the case may be, that is the will of the Lord. And that's why the scriptures say it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, because it is, man. Right? We don't have any control over any of this. This is the will of the Lord. So we got to stay prayed up. We got to stay diligent, stay brotherly, stay fighting, stay believing, trusting, fearing in YAHAWASHI. That's the recipe. That's the only way to get out of here. That's the only way to, to stay in the good graces of the Lord and ultimately, being delivered, man. Lord's willing. All right. So again, just my spiritual 2 cents. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.